Welcome everyone to 2025. This is our first YouTube video of 2025 together, Sally. For those that are just joining us, Sally's a registered counsellor that's been working with us at SC County. We work together on quite a few things, don't we?
We do.
So having a counsellor working with us has provided a lot of benefits to our clients. There's a lot of very stressful things. And today we've got a very special topic, which is preventing burnout, Sally.
Yes, thanks, Mark, and welcome back everyone to 2025. We're off to a hot start.
We are.
And we thought we'd kick off with a subject on burnout. It's one that we probably hear a fair bit around meeting with small businesses, medium-sized businesses, particularly from the business owner who is really overwhelmed and sort of feeling like they're struggling to stay afloat. And so they come and they often unpack that financial stress with you, Mark, and then they're sort of wanting to bounce ideas off me around how to support their employees as well.
Yeah, exactly. So in regards to the things that you start to see, like what are the main things that you see in regards to, the burnout and those types of things?
Yeah, it's a real mix. It can present in ways where the person's just sort of no longer engaged in their normal day-to-day activities. Yeah. They're turning up a little later. They're there at their desk, but they're not really functioning, or the output isn't as strong as what it normally would be. Yeah. And then the employer's like, oh, how do I raise this with them? I don't want to get myself in trouble with any employment law issues. So that's sort of where we sort of bounce well off one another, where you give that financial guidance and I'm there to sort of guide the employer. Exactly.
I do see it quite a lot as well. A lot of clients do come to me. Some of them, you can tell that they're burning out. The interesting aspect is that most of them don't realise they're burning out until you go and say, look, you are burning out. So they might be in a situation where they're working 70 hours a week, and then you start looking at their output, and their output's close to 20 or 30, especially for business owners. With employees, though, it's a little easier to diagnose by the managers because they'll be comparing it to other employees and being like, okay, what's going on here? This employee's outputting a lot more than the other employee, which leads us to sort of the financial impact of it. Yes. The financial impact of burnout is significant in respect to sort of two. One is the performance of the business. So it ends up restricting the growth. I'm all about growth of businesses, allowing them to sort of progress and increase the equity as much as possible. And it really restricts that because people end up not focusing on a particular task and then starting to focus on various different things. So they end up having their mindset spread over a large number of aspects. And when you do that, what I find is that you end up missing out on various things or not performing well because you're in damage control of those things. And it's important at that point for me to start recommending clients that are going through these things directly to you to work out and to identify these things and also to communicate to them as well. So just on that, I mean, how would I, if I was to approach them, how would I say to them directly, look, you're facing burnout as a business owner or as an employee, you're facing burnout. And that's one of the challenges I face. So leave that one to you.
It's a tough conversation and one that we often get asked by leaders and business owners who are nervous to have that conversation. They don't want to be looking as though they're not compassionate or that they're not that they're sort of playing the blame game when that's not the case. They're genuinely wanting to help the person to identify what's going to get them lit up again about their work, what's going to help them to refocus. So it is about giving sort of a guide for employers. We're going to tag just a simple 2-page guide for employers on how to have some of these conversations and how to help support, some own self-reflection around your own burnout or that of your employee, and just sort of supporting things like, how to have those conversations in a way that is measurable around what the workplace needs the person to be providing as an output, but also about measurable for the well-being of that person as well. Do they need to take some holidays? When was the last time they took a break, for example, and just giving people that support?
Yeah, you've hit the nail on the head in regards to a lot of strategy stuff that I do. So with a lot of clients, I sit down with them and create business strategies, marketing strategies and just normal operational business strategies. And one thing I am mindful of is in regards to the business burnout of not only of the business but of the owners of the business as well. So one of the strategies that I do put in place for a lot of business owners, depending upon the situation and depending upon the individual, would be to ensure that they do take adequate time off and they are planning for this time off, and that they do have that expectation that they are going to take that time off. But the key thing to sort of communicate to clients as well is that in life you have events that occur. I know this very well, you know this very well.
Yeah.
And during those events, you cope with things differently. And if there's a lot of stress in your life, then you have to acknowledge and say, oh, I'm dealing with a stressful situation. Should I potentially slow down? So a key example in sort of a risk management approach to a catastrophe is that it actually is beneficial to not go as fast or faster, even though there's an emergency happening. You've got to breathe, slow down, and just start to just go through slower than what you normally would. Because it's these types of events where the burnout will cause you to make errors. These errors can be costly. They may be in a point where they could be so detrimental to the business might end up failing due to potentially burnout, and you feel as though you're working really hard on that as well. So there's far-reaching financial ramifications for it, which a lot of business owners will not be aware of, but you can forecast and plan for these to ensure that you're adequately rested. You do have your weekends, which is a big thing, especially if you have families, and you're not constantly on call as well, which is the thing that I do see with a lot of people. And with technology, we end up seeing that, you know, you're always connected. You've always got your mobile phone with emails. In a lot of cases, clients and those are not requiring an immediate rectification to their problem as soon as you get an email. So you may get an email 7, 8 o'clock, midnight, 2, 3 in the morning. A lot of those clients are using that as a mechanism to assist them to just give them the information. Whereas what we're finding is that in a lot of places, as business owners, they feel obliged to just jump straight on board and be like, I've got to deal with this now because I want to keep client expectations. But the issue is by servicing that one client, you may be neglecting other clients. Or by performing one certain task, you may be neglecting other tasks. So it's about being mindful in regards to your own information management, which you know, which is a big thing as well, and also being mindful in regards to your own productivity too.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've seen a real shift in legislation recently around that, you know, expectation of being, you know, always available to your employer, which is not suitable. And, you know, just touching on that cultural you know, language that you were using around being able to set the expectation of having work-life balance, and that's really key. And you know, you certainly demonstrate that beautifully at SE Accounting with your team, and we try to implement that as much as we can with the employees we work with around lead by example, take breaks, whether it's take your lunch break and leave the building, get out and have a walk outside, or make sure you're not staying back till 10 o'clock at night. There's no value in that. That is what will lead to burnout.
Exactly.
And so it's been great for us to sort of touch on this briefly today and get it started. We've got this 2-page handout guide for employers just to sort of walk them through the conversations they can have with their teams, but obviously reaching out to us at any time as well.
Exactly. Fantastic. Well, if you do have any questions, just feel free to leave them in the comments section as well. We do check every single comment, and that's pretty much it for today.
Yeah, fantastic. Thanks.
Thank you.